Alright, what's up everybody? I'm making this video right now because this year my life has changed a lot. If you guys have been watching the channel, you've seen that. I started to get rich this year. I started to literally just get my dream life this year. I'm living in my dream city. I live here in Miami. It's about 1 o'clock as I'm making this video. And this year my life genuinely started to change. Like I used to always see people online who are making a lot of money, living the lifestyle I wanted, and doing, like, they just lived the life that I wanted. And this year I started to obtain that. Before I had this, like a year and a half ago, I was like in college, I was working a 9 to 5, I was a completely normal, everyday person. And I think I had a lot of anxiety about this because I had these big goals. I knew what I wanted with my life, but the most, the biggest thing for me was I didn't know where to start. And that's probably the most common question I get asked, the most common DM I get is, Jason, I want to get rich, I want to live the life that you live, etc., but I have no idea where to start. And one of the best parts about getting rich, and something that I've learned, and what this video is about, is that the pathway to getting rich illuminates as you walk it, okay? You don't need to know anything to get rich. It's actually funny, right? The people you see online who are rich, and the people that I used to see online who are rich, I actually know some of them now. And the people you look up to as far as getting rich goes, they know nothing. Like, essentially, like, they don't have it figured out. You think they have it all figured out, they don't. And that's the point of this video, is you don't need to have it figured out either, okay? The path illuminates as you walk. I remember before I was making any money, like I said, about a year and a half ago, when I was a completely regular person, I knew what I wanted out of life. I wanted to get rich at a young age. I had visions of getting rich at a young age. I saw myself getting rich at a young age. I had a lot of anxiety about wanting to get rich at a young age, right? I wanted to live an amazing lifestyle. And while I knew what I wanted out of life, I essentially got really clear on my goals. Like I kind of laid out a vision of what I wanted my life to look like. And while I was really clear on that, like most of you guys out there, I had no clue how to actually get there. And I think that's something that prevented me from getting rich a lot earlier, was that I spent a lot of time sitting there doing nothing because I thought I had to have it all figured out the whole time. And so something I realized about getting rich is it's not knowing exactly what steps to take. It's not knowing like steps 3, 4, and 5 down the road, on how you're gonna get to your lofty goals, how you're gonna make $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, get this life, etc. It's about being directionally correct, okay? And what I mean by being directionally correct is, like I said earlier in the video, I laid out a vision of what I wanted my life to look like. I'm sure you guys have done this too. I got really clear on my goals. I knew what I wanted out of life. I didn't know how to get there, but I knew the general direction I was supposed to go in, right? I knew I had to start a business if I wanted to create freedom for myself. I knew I wanted to get involved with the internet. I knew I wanted to make content, etc. I knew like I wasn't supposed to be in college. I knew I was supposed to quit my 9 to 5. Like, I didn't know exactly what steps to take, but I knew the general direction I was supposed to go in. And what this allowed me to do was, I didn't know steps 3, 4, and 5 to get rich, but step 1 became very clear, right? Step 1 was simply, getting out of my current situation. So dropping out of college, quitting my job, etc., which you guys have seen on the channel, by the way. If you go back to my first ever video, it's me dropping out of college. Super cringy video. I actually have been tempted to take that down many times, but I feel like for the authenticity of the channel, I want to keep it up. But it makes it real when you just think about the general direction you want to go in. It makes step 1 super clear. Like, there's probably shit you're doing that you shouldn't be fucking doing if you want to get there, and there's shit you're not currently doing that you need to be doing to get there. You probably know you need to start a business. You need to learn skills. You need to get into the online world. You probably need to make content, etc., if you want to make money and get rich at a young age, right? There's certain things you know. And so what it allows you to do is it allows you to see step 1 and then take step 1. And once you take step 1, and once you take the first step or the next step, you are receiving so much new data and knowledge, and you're basically just learning so much from the experience you're getting by taking step 1 that it makes step 2 then starts to become clear, right? So I'll give you an example. So when I started copywriting, you guys can see that on my channel, I started, like, initially I wasn't making any sort of content. I was just doing outreach. I was doing my thing, right? And as I started to do outreach, I was like, well, I think I'd land more clients. I think people would trust me more if I started to make content. So that led my conscience to want to make content, and that led me to actually go and make some content, right? It was shitty content. You guys can see it on my channel, but I went and I made that content, and then 3 months down the line, 4 months down the line, I find my current business partner, and now I'm doing what I'm currently doing, right? But I couldn't see that. I didn't have that vision when I was in step one. But that's the best part about getting rich, is you don't need to know anything. You watching this, you could absolutely get rich within the next year. You could change your life in 6 months. You could get your dream life, the shit you have on your vision board. It can absolutely be yours. The second you stop overthinking, and the second you stop trying to plan out 5 steps ahead of how you're going to get rich, if you take all your time and attention and you focus it on the step that's in front of you, you will receive the didnt. If you just follow your conscience and your heart, you follow where God is leading you, right? And I'll talk about that in a second. But if you just follow that voice in your head, it will lead you down the path, and you'll start obtaining new data, new knowledge from the current step you're on, and the path will illuminate as you walk it. Right? It's actually funny how it works, and I think God does this for a reason, because getting rich is a true test of blind faith. Fundamentally, I think it's a true test of faith. And ironically, and this is kind of goes back to my last video, like God wants you to be rich. That's a main theme throughout a lot of religious texts, right? It's very faith dependent, and so I believe getting rich is the same thing. You have to be able to blindly implement. You have to be able to blindly go after what the fuck you want and have no certainty that it's going to work out. You just have to blindly learn new things and experience new things, even when you're getting no results, right? You're fucking working on your business, you're getting no results. You're pulling up to Thanksgiving, your family's throwing shots at you, you're getting made fun of. They're like, oh, how's your little business going? You literally look stupid on paper. You're just doing shit, you're implementing, and you're seeing no results, and there's no clear pathway ahead of you of how you're gonna get the things you want to get in life. And everybody around you thinks you're crazy, right? But what they don't understand is the path illuminates as you walk it, and eventually you unlock something. You unlock a new piece of data or an opportunity that allows you to take the next step, right? And it's like, all right, I make $30,000 a month of profit right now, right? And my goal is I want to make $100,000 a month. That's my main goal, right? I want that more than anything in the world. And I don't exactly know the vehicle or the pathway of how I'm going to get there. It's not exactly clear to me. Yet I try not to stress about it. God gives me a lot of peace about it, because I trust the fact that if I just continue to put my focus and doing the best I can right now, I know the general direction I need to go in order to get there, and I just take the action and I focus on doing my shit. It's like it'll reveal itself as I go. There's literally no point in stressing or tweaking about it, because I've played this game before. When I was at 10K, I didn't know how I was going to get to 30K. When I was at 0, I didn't know how I was going to get to 10K, right? And so I understand how this pattern works. It's like you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You just have to blindly implement, mindlessly implement, and eventually you unlock the knowledge and you become the type of person capable to make the amount of money you want to make. And God essentially rewards you with new opportunities and a new vision of how you can get there, and you just go that direction, right? You got to follow your conscience. You got to follow that voice in your head, okay? And so one of the best parts about this, like I said, is the peace of mind you get. I think a lot of you guys, I remember I struggle with extreme anxiety about not being where I want to be in life, and not I create these lofty goals for myself, and it's not always easy for me to trust the fact that it's going to work out, ironically, and that's something I definitely used to struggle with more. But the peace I have obtained from God is that when you truly have faith and you mindlessly implement, you have the courage to take step 1. Step 2 becomes clear, and then you take step 2, and that's it's something new, and it's kind of new to you. It's brutal, whatever. Once again, you're seeing no results, but then that allows you to take step 3, and then eventually you string together a sequence of steps, a sequence of actions that lead you to exactly where you want to be in life, exactly where you're supposed to be in life. The shit you want out of life becomes your actual reality, and that's essentially how it works. But here's the thing about that. You cannot see step 5 until you've taken step 4. You cannot see step 4 until you've taken step 3. You cannot see step 3 until you've taken step 2. And so fundamentally, none of this matters unless you take step 1. If you have the courage to take step 1, and you just have the courage to start, and you can get directionally correct on where you want to go in life, I'm telling you, you will be a happier person. I'll talk about that in a second, but you will be happier. You will go on the adventure of your life, and you will get there. I promise you. Right? And the first step you take is probably not the correct one. You're gonna, if let's say you're here in life, you want to be here. Your first step is probably going to be in this direction, right? You're going in the general direction, you're going up, but it's not exactly pointed toward the target. However, you will fail enough and you will learn something and you will obtain new data that will allow you to course correct, and then you'll get a little bit closer on your next shot, and eventually you string together steps that take you to exactly where you want to be in life. The last thing I want to finish off with in this video is when you realize this, it allows you to find that peace I was talking about. You really truly start to enjoy the work. You truly start to enjoy every step of the process. And it's kind of like a fun little game, because it's like you don't know what God has in store for you next, but you know it's something amazing. And so you just take the step, you willingly have faith, you mindlessly implement, and you continue to just get better on a day-to-day basis, and shit just fucking works out for you. That's literally how it works, right? So yeah, if you're watching this video, I'll leave you with this. You can absolutely get rich. You can absolutely get rich at a young age. The things you want in life, the things you envision for your life can absolutely happen for you. But you cannot, you can't think your way to getting there. You cannot try to plan 5 steps ahead. God will not. It's just simply not how it works, bro. It's just simply, smart people don't get rich. Overthinkers don't get rich. It's the fucking cavemen in life who get rich. It's the fucking. It is literally the retards who just literally mindlessly implement. They're not thinking too far down the road, and they're just living in the day-to-day. Those people get rich. Stop trying to plan 5 steps ahead. The path will illuminate as you walk it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.